Wow, that was beautiful, Marcel. Thank you. My name is Sil. I'm an illustrator at OCAD. I'm in my third year, technically. And I like to work in mixed media. Both of my parents were artists. They actually met in theater school. So my mom was like doing like making props and stuff, and my dad was like painting like background sets and building like stuff like that. And they always said like I was born with a crayon in my hand. Like I was always ready to go, and I was always like making stuff like as soon as I had the ability to do that. So I've just been doing it my whole life. And I just thought it was the thing for me. I'm literally just doing this uh, school assignment thing. The inspiration is rain, and that's all you have to work with is just rain. And it has to be 8 by 10. Um, so I'm doing like a spider web with like raindrops caught in it. But I'm not drawing it because mixed media. Um, so I got this little like wooden board thing, a Dollarama. I'm gonna use the back of it, paint it black, and maybe do like a I don't know gradient or something with navy blue or something, just to give it a bit more um, texture and kind of interest. And then I'm actually creating like spider web from string, and I am kind of slowly tying beads onto it to look like water drops. So it's going to be a bit of a long process, and it's due tomorrow. But it'll be done by then, so it just might take me all night. But yeah, look at this absolute technique. Oh my goodness, I definitely know everything I'm doing right now. Oh, shit. If this gets tangled, I'm screwed. I will never be able to get it apart. An artist has nimble fingers and skilled handiwork so that everything is effortless to them all the time. Just gotta tie it off. I actually gotta paint this. Maybe I should do that now so it can dry. Actually, folk art, most trusted brand. I don't even know what this is. Oh, needs a palette. This stuff is actually great because it dries pretty opaque. The Liquitex stuff is a little bit translucent sometimes, which is annoying. One of my artist mottos is it always looks worse before it looks better. And that rings true almost every single time. Sometimes I'll be working on a piece and it'll look like absolute shit, and someone will walk by and they'll be like, what are you doing? And I'll be like, I swear to God, it'll get there, okay? It doesn't look like anything now, but it'll get there. And then eventually I'm done and they're like, you were right. That's sick. Technique. You never need a palette. The brush is the palette. Probably do another coat later. Get rid of those brush strokes. My biggest struggle with like being an illustration student is your professor is constantly telling you like you need to develop a process. Like you need to kind of have like a bunch of sketches. You need to bring your sketches to class, and then you need to have linears, and then you need to create a final product from your linears. And I'm like, I've never done it that way, and I feel like as soon as I graduate, I'm gonna stop doing it that way because it just doesn't really work for me. But it also is a good challenge for me, to be able to kind of get my ideas onto paper. That's something that I, as a person with ADHD, like really struggle with is kind of how do I get everything in here onto paper without that, like the first time I do that being like the finished product, like with all the art that you see like around here, like it was like my first pass, like I had the idea, I put it on paper, and I kind of made it up as I went along, But being at a school that kind of teaches you like you need to have some kind of method, like, it has challenged me to kind of, do sketches beforehand, even if they look like crap. Do some sketches, do linears, like come up with more than one idea. Um, so it's been a bit of a struggle, but it's also been like, good for my mind, good to be able to do that when I need to. My process in general, it's pretty chaotic. I usually I like sit down at my desk, I put on like a YouTube video or something, just mindlessly to like listen to in the background, have some like lights kind of flashing, in my eye while I'm like sitting there doing my art, and I'm in the zone. And hopefully I don't get distracted, but it's kind of inevitable. But once I'm in that zone and I'm making my art, like I'm there and I can't really do anything else. Yeah, so I mean, I can like go over some of these artworks here. This one I did in high school. It was nothing special. Like it was like a Schism field trip thing. But as I was doing it, like there was a guy across from me, and he was like, "The fuck is that?" And I was like, "Dude, leave me alone! Like I'm just trying to express myself. Like yes, it's a little bit cringe, but like just leave me alone, dude." Anyway, pissed me off. This one, oh my god, like every piece of queer art I do, like someone hates it for some reason. But my teacher, a funny story about this one, I submitted this. The assignment was like, okay, you have to like talk about like romance in the context of like music or film or something. So I was like, okay, I'll do romance and music, but I was like, I don't want to do anything like cliche. So I did like a punk rock kind of scene. Um, and I wanted to go for like a really kind of grunge, like hardcore aesthetic, kind of in your face type, like queer shit. And then my teacher was like, "Oh yeah, that's great and all, but I don't really see the queerness of it. I think you need to add more rainbows." And I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me? More rainbows? Oh, sure, sure. Those will fit right in." Anyway, I did this piece in high school as well. Really good one. It was based on like medieval kind of iconography and pre-Raphaelite kind of style of painting, but I kind of wanted to have like that SIL look. So it's still very me, but you can definitely see like the art history inspiration behind it. So I used that to apply to OCAD too. I just wanted to show a bit of range of what I was capable of doing, and that I kind of know a little bit about history and everything. So kind of kill two birds with one stone. Um, yeah, that's a comic I did with Gabby, who was featured in the last Artscapes episode. Link in bio. No, I don't know. But yeah, I just kind of threw that up. I thought it was cute. Little comic here about the sad reality of capitalism. Um, Pause the video if you want to read it. um, and then this piece here I did for um, school as well, just a school assignment. Long story behind that. I won't get into it, but basically, it's about a time that I almost died getting hit by a train, twice in 5 minutes. So I'm not going to elaborate yet. This is actually my latest school assignment. It was a diptych. You could basically draw anything you wanted. So I was really struggling, like, to come up with some kind of idea, because this is the first assignment I had in OCAD that wasn't like, oh, do a cover for a book, or do a, like, album cover art, or something like that, like a commission-based piece of art. This one was very, like, do whatever you want, as long as it's a diptych. So I was kind of racking my brain trying to come up with ideas, but I came up with this guy who's like looking at a couple mushrooms and he's like breathing in the spores, and then the mushrooms start like growing from his lungs. So and the techniques I used in this one I was really happy with because they're techniques that I've kind of been working on a lot in the past few months, kind of developing this like iconic kind of style and like characterization, and working on anatomy and stuff too. So the critique went really well too. Everyone liked that piece, so bit of an ego boost. But it's good. I really like that one. Another school assignment down there. Again, nothing really special, but you can definitely tell that I like pen and ink kind of work. It's my favorite kind of medium to go to. It's just so simple. You could do a lot with it. And no one's going to be on your ass with the color until they are. And then you're like, fuck you, this is what I do. This piece I did in, oh gosh, grade 10 or 11. But yeah, it's about basically the horrors of like the meat industry, and kind of, what everyone doesn't want to think about when you think about the meat industry. But my teacher loved this piece, and she hung it up in her room for a couple years after. And every time I'd walk by her class, she would be like, "Hey, so like, I just want to let you know, like, every single day people stop and they look at this." And I was like, "Whoa, people actually look at my art? That's crazy." Okay, so this is a really special project of mine. I've never really done anything like this before, and since I made this, I haven't really done anything like it again either, but I probably will. But it's a Mylar light box, so it's not actually backlit at the moment. But like if you hold it up to a light, you can see like, it's kind of cool looking. But it's based on a little kind of legend from my hometown, Hamilton, about Stelco mermaids, which are like these kind of mutated mermaids that live in the Hamilton Bay, because there's kind of a running meme or joke, I guess, that like the Hamilton Bay water is like so disgusting and so toxic because of the steel mills. So I overheard some kids joking about like mutated mermaids like living in the Hamilton Bay. So I thought it was funny. So I did a little art piece based on it. Pretty cool. And then this was another important project of mine. Um, I had never really made dolls before, but I kind of dabbled in sewing like here and there throughout my childhood. Um, but I wanted to like do like kind of a big sewing project. So this was like my kind of pandemic project. Um, I'm working on another doll at the moment too. So I'm hoping there's going to be like kind of a line of dolls in the future, and maybe I'll even do like I don't know a little exhibition or something with them. But yeah, really fun. Took a long time, but it was worth it. Cool turnout. This is the biggest painting I've ever done. Biggest piece of art I've ever done, really. And I had so much fun doing this. I completed the painting in like, I want to say a span of like 2 or 3 days because I would work on it for like 10 hours a day. Just like straight, I wouldn't eat. Like when I'm in that zone, I'm in that zone. Nothing stops me, not even my tummy. So I just put on music and I painted for like 10 hours. And, by the time I was done, I was like asleep on the floor practically. Um, but really fun. I enjoyed doing it. You can kind of see a bit of Keith Haring inspiration, but I wanted to kind of prioritize like my own character design and kind of solidifying the style that I've like developed recently. I mean, there's tons of joy. Art is like something that I plan to do for the rest of my life. But honestly, as anticlimactic as it is, like I don't see myself having a career as an artist. At least not like from a financial standpoint. I see myself like going into a trade or something like that. I'm thinking about becoming a welder. But I just want a job that kind of supports me in my life so that I can keep making art, um, as a hobby. Like that's still what I want to do for the rest of my life. That's still like what I live for. So even if that's not like what I'm making money off of, I want to be able to support that aspect of my life because it's so important to me. Um, so yeah, I'm just excited to see, um, where my future is as an artist because I don't really know yet. Um, but I do know that I'm gonna make a lot of cool stuff. Um, I always have and I always will. And as long as there's people there around me to say, hey, nice job, then I'm gonna keep going. Um, so, yeah.